They say love is blind, but let's be honest, that's more true in some cases than others. Granted, some people deserve each other, but sometimes you look at a couple and you wonder, how can they possibly be together? From a couple that could be confused with a father and daughter, to a man that became a celebrity for being the most ugly in his country. Here are the 15 most unusual couples proving that love is blind. Number 15. Emily Jennings. Ever heard of a mixed weight relationship? No? Yeah, neither had we. But do you know that society has so many unfair standards about what's acceptable and what is not acceptable? Well, there's a couple that is having none of that and denying those ridiculous standards. Good for them. Emily Jennings, originally from Denmark, had a very tough life of being bullied about her size. Society and comments led her to self-harming and very low self-esteem. All that changed when she met Sean via a game on PlayStation. Sean didn't care about her size, and they soon started chatting, and before long, they started a long-distance relationship before meeting up a year later. Emily soon realized that Sean from England loved her for her and how her body was. Sean is not generally attracted to larger women, he says. I'm attracted to people I love. After 9 years of dating, they finally got married. Sadly, though, Sean's dad cut contact with him over the relationship, but he got the love of his life. Mixed weight relationship? Who cares? Love shines through, and we need more stories like this one to show the world that body size does not matter. We wish you all the best, Emily and Sean. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Now it's time for the star topic. Meet the Yakubus, a strange-looking married couple from Nigeria. As you can see, she can hardly reach his hips while wearing high heels. She looks like a small toddler next to her husband. Apparently, Mr. Yakubu is a very well-known athlete in Nigeria, and because of that, he wanted to keep his relationship secret to protect his wife from the paparazzi. But someone leaked a picture of them on Twitter, and now they're becoming an internet sensation on account of their height disparity. There are some people that are even calling it a long-distance relationship, because she's short and clever. Comment down below with the hashtag StarTopic and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. With that said, let's keep things moving. Number 14. Jolison Fernandez da Silva and Ivem Medeiros. Now, we all know of couples who met through Facebook or social media, but do you know of a 7'8" tall man and a woman 3 feet shorter than him? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Well, not if you're the third tallest man in the world. That's right, Brazilian Jolison Fernandez da Silva from Paraíba in northern Brazil met the lovely Ivem Medeiros through Facebook. Having developed gigantism as a child, the gentle giant did not stop growing and quickly surpassed his father's height. After consultation with doctors, it was discovered that Jolison had a benign tumor on his pituitary gland. This is a condition that causes your body to produce uncontrolled amounts of growth hormone. This is potentially dangerous, especially as Jolison initially refused to have an operation to remove it. After his surgery in 2007, he sprouted a further 4 inches before stopping at his height today. The advantages of being so tall may be plentiful, you might think, but sadly, it comes with bullying, lack of self-confidence, and living as a recluse. However, the little bit of stardom he gained led to him meeting his future wife, Ivem Medeiros. Now happily married, even at 3 feet smaller, they don't care about the height difference. Isn't it that love is the most important part? Number 13. 9-year-old boy and his 61-year-old wife. There are age gaps in relationships, and then there are giant age crevasses. In 2013, 9-year-old Sanele Maselela and 62-year-old Helen Shabangu renewed their vows in South Africa, having gotten married the year before. That's right, you heard correctly. That boy is 9, and there is an age gap of a whopping 53 years. Many villagers were just as uncomfortable as you may be thinking, calling it sickening. But this was tradition. It seems that Sanele was told by his dead ancestors that he should marry. Helen was the chosen bride, and she was happy to comply. The ceremony took place in front of her long-term husband at her home. A mother of 5 children, aged between 28 and 38 years old, she didn't have a problem with marrying the boy and didn't care what other people say. It was for his ancestors, and she says they were just playing. Sanele still wants to go to school and study hard and eventually meet someone else. We're not sure if you can really call this love, but more tradition. Whether or not you agree with this, we sure hope Sanele finds and marries a woman close to his age later in his life. Number 12. Anastasia Oreskos and Quentin Dahar. Money can't buy love. Well, some say that's debatable, but it seems it can buy you a new look, Barbie and Ken style. Yes, we all know about Barbie dolls and her boyfriend Ken, but do you know about the real-life couple? Anastasia Oreskos and Quentin Dahar met in Saint-Tropez, France in 2013. From then on, it was doll heaven. They've now spent over $300,000 on morphing into the real-life Barbie and Ken. Having completely redone his face, Quentin is now looking to redo his pectoral muscles. It's not just Quentin who is obsessed by the dolls. His love, partner, and friend Anastasia, born in Russia, wants to be the perfect Barbie. Next stop at the surgeon's is to reshape her ears. Quoted as saying, "We want to spend the rest of our lives together morphing into the dolls we love." They certainly seem to have found their common passion.
J'hésite encore, pourquoi pas une des deux, mais je sais très bien que j'arriverai à tenir mon rôle.
Driving around in a Porsche funded by Quentin's own mobile phone shop, even Quentin's parents refer to them as Barbie and Ken. So the question is, will Barbie actually marry Ken? Well, many children have dreamt of that over the years, so time will tell. Number 11. Ugliest man Sababi marries. Beauty is said to be in the eye of the beholder. Well, it's a bit unfair then to be nicknamed the ugliest man in Uganda. That is the fate of Godfrey Baguma, aka Sababi, which horribly means worst of the worst. Well, that doesn't seem to be holding him back. In 2020, he married his 3rd wife. People wonder whether his wives are gold diggers or even if he has some special seductive charms. Of course, his wives all say he's the most charming man of all. Now, after 3 wives, he has 7 children and is a very happy man. A comedian and singer, he has become a real celebrity in Uganda since putting himself up for the Ugliest Man competition in 2002 in order to win some money for his family. He is living life to the fullest. Sadly, in 2016, Godfrey's health deteriorated. After an MRI scan, it was discovered that he has a rare condition called fibrodysplasia, which affects the growth and placement of cells and body tissues so much that it puts part of his brain under pressure. Godfrey, we wish you and your family all the best. Number 10. Susan and Philip Ealing Love Story. On page 74 of the book Life is What You Make It, the author predicts he would find someone that would love him wholeheartedly. Well, for 32-year-old Philip Ealing, his dream was to come true, and Philip did not have a normal life as we know it. Born in Australia with muscular dystrophy, he would get progressively weaker and lose muscle mass. As such, at 5 years old, he had to start using a wheelchair. But by 2012, he had already written a book, and then in 2017, his life changed again when Susan Jogu walked into the office he was working and into his life. Born and raised in Kenya, Susan moved to Adelaide, Australia 2 years earlier. After getting her diploma to work with the disabled, she soon found herself working at the same company as Philip. From then on, it was love at first sight. Numbers were exchanged, coffee dates organized, even with Philip's mother. And after a whirlwind 6 months, they were engaged. On the 27th of January 2018, they wed in a garden in Adelaide. Helen is aware of the haters out there accusing her of being a gold digger, but she expected that and doesn't care. Good for you, Helen. Love comes in all manners. So enjoy yourselves, Mr. and Mrs. Ealing. Number 9. Twin sisters and cousin share the same husband. Keeping it in the family. That is certainly what 51-year-old Joe Darger has done. Sound weird? Well, fundamentalist Mormon from Salt Lake City, Utah, Joe is married to beautiful twin sisters Vicky and Valerie. It doesn't stop there. Joe is also married to their cousin Alina, and they have 24 children between them all. This sounds crazy, we know, and you may or may not agree with it, but the Mormon culture allows polygamous marriage. Even as teenagers, Vicky and Valerie liked the same guys, so Vicky thought it might be good if we married the same man.
The sisters part is no different than Rachel and Leah in the Bible, and culturally,
Vicky was the first of the twins to be married to Joe after he had been dating her and her cousin Alina at the same time when he was just 18. They finally got married in a joint wedding in 1990. Fast forward 10 years later, and Vicky encouraged Joe to pursue a relationship with her twin Valerie, and he ended up marrying her too. Valerie had just gone through an abusive marriage to a man with 6 wives. Yeah, it's all very complicated, but they all have their own bedroom, and Joe alternates between them. As the name of their book says, love times 3. Number 8. Nick Vujicic and his wife, Kanae Miyahara. Prince Charming with a couple of bits and pieces missing. That is how Australian-American-born Nick Vujicic describes himself with humor. If you're complaining about your life, then imagine it without legs or arms. Well, Nick is living exactly that. A world-renowned speaker, coach, and entrepreneur, not to mention his best-selling book, Life Without Limbs. One thing was missing from his life: a wife. Nick has overcome amazing obstacles in life and never let anything stop him, but he never really thought he would ever have a wife. Well, that was until he saw Kanae Miyahara at one of his talks in Texas. It was a small audience of 16, but Nick couldn't take his eyes off her. Nick chatted with her and her sister for hours. Another story of love at first sight. Well, it was for Nick, but Kanae declined giving her email at first and suggested she contact him through the website. A bit disappointed at first, that disappointment soon vanished when she contacted him and they started dating. Married in 2012, they now have 4 children. Nick said of the night they met that fireworks were in our minds and hearts and our eyes connected that night. Well, they certainly were, and we wish you many more glorious fireworks for years to come. Number 7. Japanese man marries hologram of virtual idol Hatsune Miku. Modern times calls for modern marriages, right? Well, I'm not sure if you're ready for this story. Did you know that there are people married to holograms? Well, actually, the marriage has no legal standing, but it did include a small wedding ceremony costing $18,000 US. Yeah, back in 2018, 37-year-old Akihiko Kondo from Tokyo married a computer-generated hologram. After being bullied by older women, Akihiko found comfort in a piece of computer-generated singing software called Hatsune Miku. After deciding that Hatsune was the one, like many other thousands of fans worldwide, he became devoted to her. He took it one step further to marriage, and despite 39 of his friends and relatives attending the ceremony, his parents did not. Her fans wished them well, but he has also been accused of being a creepy otaku or geek. With a ring on one of her stuffed dolls, he still finds comfort in coming home to her as she recognizes his face and voice through an embedded microphone and camera. Simple phrases and songs keep Akihiko happy. There are 3,700 Japanese who have signed up for marriage registration forms allowing them to marry virtual characters. So what next? Who's to say we won't be marrying robots in the future? Number 6. He's not my grandpa, he's my husband. Extreme love. Over 3 decades in age difference? working on a reptile farm? Meet Tom and Stacy Crutchfield. Tom is aged 72 and Stacy is 40, and they are married and live together in Homestead, Florida. Tom runs a reptile farm in Florida, and when Stacy's iguana needed medical help in 2010, she contacted Tom through Facebook. That led to her working on his reptile farm, and even though Tom initially thought she was too young for him, a friendship grew and developed into a romantic relationship. It wasn't long before they fell in love. Love amongst reptiles. But that wasn't the biggest challenge. They got married in 2018, and at first, Stacy's parents were not too enamored by the idea. After all, Stacy's dad's only 5 years older than Tom. But after they got to know him, they soon realized that age doesn't matter, and their beloved daughter was very happy with Tom.
We knew he's a great guy. He's really nice.
However, other people still can't figure it out. When they're out in public, they get their fair share of judgment. Naturally, the "is he your father" look, but there was one anecdote in a restaurant when an old lady was trying to chat up Tom, and she stated what a lovely granddaughter he had. Who are we to judge? If they're happy, let them be. Number 5. The world's tallest bride, 6'8" Brazilian teenager to marry her 5'4" boyfriend. We've already spoken about Jolison Fernandes da Silva and Ivem Medeiros, but what about the opposite? Elisane Silva from Salinópolis, Brazil, has been dubbed Brazil's tallest woman. At age 26, she measured a staggering 6 feet 8 inches. Yeah, that is very tall, but she was already 5'9" at just age 10. Like Jolison, Elisane suffered from the condition known as gigantism. Also like Jolison, she suffered from bullying about her height, but she has embraced it and is working hard to become a model. Her family couldn't afford the medical bills, so as part exchange, she agreed with a national television company to pay for her medical bills if she told her story. Her life was moving upwards, pun intended. In 2011, Elisane met her husband, Francinaldo da Silva Carvalho. Obviously, he was nowhere near as tall as her. Measuring 5'4", the same size as her mother, they have a nearly 2-foot height difference. Elisane fell for him right there and then, as he was the first person to treat her as a human. Sad but true, and that was very important for her. The couple quickly got engaged and married in September 2015. They now have a son, Angelo, age 3. Another beautiful family from unlikely circumstances. Number 4. Anton Kraft and China Bell. Nothing ceases to amaze us in the world of love. Couples of all sizes, cultures, genders, and countries find each other simply through love. The story of Anton Kraft and China Bell is one of those special stories. And thrown into the mix is that Anton owns the world record for bench pressing 4 times his body weight, a massive 500 pounds. That is quite a weight to bench press, especially when you're Anton's height of only 4 feet 4 inches. At 53 years old, Anton has accomplished many things, but he says his biggest achievement is sweeping his 6'3" girlfriend off her feet. That's right, Anton's girlfriend is a 6'3" tall transgender woman named China Bell. At 43 years old, she'd never looked twice at someone of Anton's height before, and she had her doubts. But as ever, love shone through, and the Florida couple are totally loved up. China says she's very happy she gave him his chance, and the feeling is mutual apparently, as he says he's the luckiest man in the world.
Anton and I talked over the internet for quite some time, and when I saw him, I thought he was handsome.
It's only been 6 months of dating and having a tower of strength by his side, but Anton is thinking of going down on one knee for her. That would make her Mrs. China Kraft. Great name. Number 3. Kate Cathcart and Darren. Did you know that there was a prize for punching above your weight when it comes to looks? Well, in Northeast England, there is. And Darren Donaghy won it when entered into the competition by his partner, Kate Cathcart. It all started when Kate moved into Darren's street. Darren was talking away to his new friend about the new girl in the street. However, unbeknownst to him, he didn't realize it was his friend's sister. After some introductions, dating began, and they are now married with a young boy. It turns out he was not punching above his weight. Kate had doubts about her looks after being sadly bullied at school, but Darren had no doubt about her looks. People still look at him in the street and can't work it out. Some people are just lucky in life. Not only did he win a 2-week holiday in Rhodes for winning the Punching Above Your Weight award, that was nothing compared to buying a scratch-off lottery ticket in his local shop in 2018. To his disbelief, he won £1 million. Lucky Darren. With Kate on his arm and $1 million in the bank, he is one very happy man with a very happy family. Number 2. Jamie and Nikki. Not all true love stories work out in the end, unfortunately. The famous YouTube Australian couple Jamie and Nikki Perkins have decided to call it a day on their relationship after 6 years of marriage. Famous for sharing their relationship online, they went viral when their videos gave everyone an insight into their lives, from their engagement, wedding, pregnancy, and their experiences as an interracial couple. A Sudanese model, Nikki married Jamie back in 2013, and their marriage flourished in the eyes of social media with their 2 beautiful daughters, Ava and Zoe.
I promise you my love, my loyalty.
But all of a sudden, in June 2019, the posts and blogs stopped. People were starting to speculate as Nikki was posting photos online without her wedding ring. Via separate statements online, they announced their split. They wanted to do a video to explain, but it was just too painful. No more vlogging together for these two. We wish both Jamie and Nikki all the best for their future lives, no matter who it may be with. We're sure they'll find someone again. Number 1. Bera Ivanishvili and Nanuka Gudavadze. Bera Ivanishvili, also simply known as Bera, is an albino rapper, singer, songwriter, and producer. He's part of the powerful Georgian family whose father, Bejina Ivanishvili, is a businessman and leader of the ruling party, Georgian Dream. Now, when your father's close friend has a stunning daughter named Nanuka Gudavadze, surely, whatever your physique is, you dream of being with her. Bera and Nanuka were dating for a few months before they got married in September 2018 in an Orthodox service in the town of Sketa. Showing their generosity, the couple asked their guests to send donations to local foster home organizations instead of buying gifts. In 2019, they had their own little boy to welcome into the world. They were the hot couple in Georgia, and the wedding video they shared online could have been mistaken for a music video. It really is something out of the celebrity world. While studying at the Ilia State University in Tbilisi, Georgia, Nanuka didn't pay much attention to the many guys that understandably liked her, but they didn't have the family connection that Bera had. The stunning model Nanuka and the angelic-looking Bera sure do make the fantasy film-looking couple. There is no blind love here. As you can very well see, love knows no boundaries, and you should believe in yourself when it comes to romantic aspirations. How about you? Have you ever experienced a situation like the ones in this video? Tell us about it. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.